Welcome to the MC Running Podcast. This is episode number 5, and thank you for tuning in to today's episode. And I want to thank you for everybody's little input and all that for giving us some ideas for this podcast. Let us know in the comments down below, or shoot us on Strava or anything like that if you have any ideas for the podcast. But anyways, we're gonna dive into the podcast today. So I was editing his video for the YouTube channel. I think it was already posted, but I was editing it and I saw that he was very consistent for a very long time, 2 years, 3 years, and I was like, an injury was gonna happen soon, because 2 years basically without an injury is a lot, and it's a good way to be consistent and all that. You're going through the process, but injury will happen at some point. You're lucky if you stay injury free for 2 years and you just have a few niggles and all that. So you were very lucky to just kind of stay injury free, be consistent, accomplish many goals. As on the other hand, I was not able to do that. Injuries popped up after injuries, and injuries just kept on just finding a way to my body. I had shin splints, and then I was running with these injuries though. Like, after the shin splints, I thought they healed. They came back, and then they came back again, and then they came back in. So then I picked up biking. After biking, then my hips started hurting, and then I had foot pain, and there's just so many injuries that have came my way, and it allowed me not to be consistent. It allowed me not to build that growth, and over time just kind of build that, that growth. Yeah. But on the other hand, you were able to maintain that consistent growth, and now you ran that 2:54 marathon because you were able to build up that consistency, because you were maintained basically injury-free beside that little flare-up of tendonitis that you had, but you basically still ran on it. I mean, You was like, I don't really care, I'm going to run on it.
Yeah, I actually think that made it feel better, but I only had, throughout those 2.5 years, I was overall, mostly just 2 years when I officially started to pick up running again, which was after the freshman year of cross-country season. I took like a month off, and then I started to really pick it up over Christmas time. And that's when I knew I wanted to start some running thing. Didn't know it was going to become this serious 2 years later, but for some reason it really has. And I just has remained such a good consistency pattern over the past 2 years that it makes you say, which is true all the way, that consistency is everything. It does take a lot of patience to be consistent, because yes, I went from my first race of my path of being consistent, which was like a month in, which was a 10K race or whatever. I don't really know. It's quarter marathon, 6.55 miles. And I reached a time of 45 minutes, I got sub 45 minutes, and I was stoked. It was like 6:51 minute per mile pace.
Wait, was that your first road race?
Yeah, first road race.
Yeah, that first road race, that was my first ever 5K, because I think you were ahead of distance, because I had suffered, another injury. Another injury had popped up before the shin splint, which was quadricep tendonitis, which was very, very painful. But again, on the other hand of the spectrum, I was glad to have gotten that injury, because I wasn't really into running. I was like, yes, I don't get to run. I don't really have to put through that pain. I don't have to do any of that. And then I ended up getting into running because you kind of like inspired me. And then I ran a 21:34 5K, and then it ended up progressing to an 18:23 or something like that.
Yeah, what really I don't know what really kicked my motivation for running. I really don't. I just know. I think it was just getting better and better each and every month. I started to really track down. Yeah, because like during the cross country season, I still didn't have a strong enough mentality. I saw in the beginning of the cross country season, I was like, oh, this is cool, this is fun. Not gonna really go much into it, but throughout the season, I noticed my times were getting better. They weren't the fastest times for sure. I don't know. They were very slow. Let's just say that. For me. They're not slow for many other people. We cannot judge how people's speed. Everybody's different. I mean, someone who can run a 5:20 marathon's not going to be like, oh my God, you can only run a 6:39 pace for a marathon.
Yeah, because everybody has different goals. You could be trained for ultra marathons. You could just be trained to run every day. You could just be trained, and then you can't look at a race and be like, man, that person ran a 45-minute 10K. Man, you're slow. You gotta look. You don't know their backstory if they just returned from an injury and they're like stoked. If I ran a 45-minute 10K or even a 5K right now, I'd be stoked because you don't know my backstory, and it would just kind of aggravate me that someone was basically telling me.
And people think
slow.
it's also just the physical side people go through with injuries, but there's a mental side is majorly important. I feel like over the physical side.
In every single sport,
because
mental.
Some people have to take a step back mentally to prepare for the next season, or just take time off because they might have got burnt out, or just personal issues they went through. They could have running could have sacrificed some of their health issues that they might have needed to get back. For example, testosterone levels. Testosterone levels can go down, especially while long distance running. So some people have to be smart and be like, my blood work's not right. I almost did get a blood work test done during my half marathon training block, but I went for the doctor during my yearly checkup. My doctor said I was fine, and I never got my blood work done, which I almost did, but I think I was so lean that it might have not really the training that messed me up, but the factor that I was pretty lean and I needed to put on some body weight and mass, which I did. I mean, it's kind of hard to say that I did.
It's hard to see the photos where I used to look like. But man, I was suffering through so much niggles during that time. I mean, I can't say much right now because I'm not running. I don't know how much injuries or niggles I would face right now. But during those times when I was really, really lean, I was like probably sub 6%, 7%. I was running slower when I was really, really lean when I was cycling, because I just had the endorphins rushing through my system that I was like, I need to complete this workout. If I don't, then I'm being dishonest with myself. I'm just not being true with myself. I had a weird mentality. And then when I was I was 8% body fat, probably 7%, I don't know. I always had these shin splints or these calf pains after my run because my calves are so like they probably are the part of my body that really leans out the most through, instead of like my arms, my abdomen, my face. It's really my calves, and when they leaned out super much, like a lot, just because of the running, I was probably not eating enough. Just it really caused my legs to flare up, and I was like, man, I wish I could look like that. Because I have photos of how I used to look, but I remember every day after my run, every time after my run, or even in the middle of my run, I was like, I want to stop because my shins hurt so bad. I want to stop because, like, you know how your calf is like right. So say this is your calf, okay, and you know that inner part right there, right between the calf, that is where it hurt, and it's painful right there. The anterior tibialis, I'm pretty sure is what it's called, and then your outer shin is called your posterior. But it was very painful every step I took. I was scared to low-key run every day because it would hurt. It wouldn't be as fun, you know, because I would suffer through these pains every time. Especially after my run, I would limp home, like no joke, limp home because of the shin pain. So now when I look at those photos, I'm like, yes, I wish I could be that lean, but do I really wish I could be that lean? Probably not, just because it made running less fun. It made everybody else be like, wow, you look great, but like on the other hand of the spectrum, did I feel good? No, my testosterone was probably really low. My I'm just gonna be honest, my sex drive was very low. And as a teenager, I mean, it should be higher than what I had. It. My sleep suffered probably. I don't really remember now.
No, I feel like my sleep was so great. It was amazing.
Not on those long run days for sure.
No.
Because I didn't eat. Like I was so freaking lean that it was just caused a bunch of injuries. So I would say if you are getting tons of injuries, you might want to look at your body fat percentage. Everybody has a different set point, and that different set point means that you have a different body fat that you can maintain to prevent injuries. You might want to reach that borderline where you're preventing injuries, but you are healthy enough because light does not mean healthy. So a bunch of the pros sacrifice their weight, their body weight, their health, and like it's not health and fitness for them at the end of the day. It's like, how lean can I get to run these times? Like Ryan Hall was basically lean out. He would lose weight during his training block on purpose to get down a race weight, and look at him now. His testosterone was depleted, and he had to retire from running. So is it worth it? I don't know. Answer that question to yourself. You have to be willing to say, is it worth it to be this lean? Is it worth it to come down to race weight? Or is it better to maintain that sustainably for a long time?
Yeah, it goes back
to... Is it worth to get in this amazing PR? Or would I retire early and stop running? Or would I rather kind of have no injuries and run for the rest of my life?
Yeah, it goes back to the consistency consistency pattern or whatever. But it's your weight does fluctuate throughout the year. My weight does definitely fluctuate throughout the year. What I notice is I get not fat. I put on weight during the Christmas time, the holiday season, from Thanksgiving to around January, February time. Especially with Mardi Gras around the corner, I sometimes put on even more weight, but then I start to lose it. I don't know why, but I'm eating in a calorie deficit. But I think the training has an impact onto it, that I start losing weight into the summer, looking pretty lean, and then I start to put on weight again.
And you're going below your set point, too.
Yeah.
Your body's not supposed to get to that lean, and it's just like, I need a rebound. I need it. I don't want to go in the starvation mode.
I think it's healthy for runners to have a weight fluctuation. Not yo-yo dieting here or yo-yo body weight, but just going up and down. It's because most runners have a race weight. Hopefully your race weight is not lean. Like, it's lean, but it's not extremely lean to where it's actually suffering your performance, rather than making your performance. But some people's race weight is not what they should maintain the whole year, so they'll put on weight after their season or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah, but that's more the professionals that do that. Like, Emma Coburn, like the best, like USA, what do you call that thing? Where you go, the steeplechase. Yeah. She puts on a bunch of, she tries to put on weight after the track and field season, just because she can't maintain her race weight for the rest of the year, because it's too much for her. She'll probably get injured, she'll be hungry, and it's not maintainable for her, and it's not the right way to go.
Yeah, and back to my consistency, that it's literally everything, because I improved from a quarter marathon at a 6:52 pace, and then I started not ramping up my miles, but I was building more and more miles each month. January only, which is the month I ran that 6:51 or 6:52 pace quarter marathon. I ran 60 miles that month. Next month was like 80. Which that month I ran like a 6:33 10K, which a 6:33 pace, not 6:33 10K. But that was the pace, and then a month later, I ran my first half marathon. That's when it really did, and because a week later COVID happened, and that's officially when I started, like, I want to become a very top runner. I want to try to reach a professional type stance, whether if it's sub-elite or if I could get into that elite category, that would be amazing. Never stop shooting for your goals. If you're 30 years old and you feel like
it's never too late to go for your passion. It's never too late. I recently watched a video by Nicholas Crystal.
Christie?
No, it's Nicholas Crystal. That's Christl is his last name. I know, I thought it was that too. But great YouTuber. He's really grown, and I found him just by watching his marathon video, training for a marathon in 9 weeks, and it really inspired me to watch like his whole channel, because it's just that great. But he said, is it too late to find your passion? And the person he was talking to, he was this great successful businessman, but he quit to do his true passion. And so it's really never too late to follow your passion. And because people don't want to follow their true passion because they're revolved in this society that is not normalized. And people want you to go down the normalized path. Oh, become a lawyer. Oh, become a doctor. Oh, become a coding expert.
A jealous factor can go in. If you see somebody doing something and you want to get there, you tell them, don't do that because...
No, it's not because they're jealous. They might be jealous, but everybody wants a safe route. And building your own business, following your own dream, finding your passion is risk-taking. It's not going down the safe route, and it's not going down like you are risk-taking at that point. Right now, we are risk-taking at this point. Mm-hmm. We really are. We're really not because we have our parents' time to support us, but once we leave once we leave this house and go move off, we're taking a risk. Like, it's a big risk taker to just kind of find your true passion, which your true passion is you to run, inspire others, motivate others, and have maybe a clothing line. That is a big goal of ours, is to have a successful clothing line. But it's a risk at the end of the day. It's not going to be easy for the first start. It's all about you have to put in the work for the first few years, and then you still have to work, but you can work less because you might have become successful. So would you rather have a job that you do not like, and you make great money from it, but you took the safe route, and you're so depressed, you're not happy with yourself, you don't like your job, and so, or would you rather have taken the unsafe route, you make less money, but you're happier through your life?
Yeah.
I would pick that route because I'm happier. Even though I'm making less money, I'm literally living day by day of what I want to do.
Yeah, I gotta say life is about taking risk, and you shoot for your goals no matter what. Even it's never too late. You could even get halfway there, because a goal is not meant to be breaking all the time.
Yeah,
it's just to be set. It's just out there. If I'm gonna say I'm gonna get a 2:40 marathon, I'm going to try to break 2:40. I can get halfway there, or it's just a goal to have in your mind to maybe shoot for another goal, or just try to have some.
Or look at it this way: so you can set a big goal, big audacious goal, okay? But then, you're not going to achieve it, but you can always work toward it. That's when you're enjoying the journey rather than the destination. You might know you're never going to achieve it, but you can at least try and have that journey to get there. So I learned it from
you never say never. I say I'm gonna get a sub 220 marathon sometime in my lifetime. I'm never gonna say it's not gonna happen. I'm always saying it's going to happen.
One day you're gonna wake up and it's gonna happen.
It's that motivation. It's that drive. There's people out there that you cannot say it's genetic birth. Kenyans are not. People like to use the genetic excuse.
Yes,
Kenyans are born with good genetics, but that is not the reason why they can run these 205 marathons. The reason they can run these 205 marathons is because they're putting in the hard work. They're putting in the miles. They're training really hard. They're running from when they're 5 years old, or if not younger, with the streets. It's their lifestyle that they live.
They're not moping on TikTok and Instagram and social media.
This phone is a devil to many things. The food that is in America or in many places is really bad. I mean, yes, I like it and I enjoy it, but if we never had that created, it will not affect us the way it does. It makes us very tired, sometimes really unmotivated, sleepy, it's not good for us at the end of the day. Yes, I like to enjoy it because that's what balance is, but just imagine if it never was created. And it's also the lifestyle that they live. They run to school every day, back and forth to school.
It's
sad, but that's the way they live. They don't grow up with cars. They grow up with their exercise or their running.
Which is great for them because they are allowed to become successful. They're allowed to live healthier lifestyles. They're allowed to have a different mentality than I'm just gonna say it, the slumps in the U.S. Like, not everybody is terrible at and eats unhealthy and all that, but the other countries, like Kenya, Ethiopia, all of those are living different lifestyles, and us as Americans, we take things for granted.
But I gotta say, you can't compare yourself to other people either. Just like you can't compare a country to. You can live your lifestyle the way you want. But just remember, people get to their goals by putting in the hard work. They put in the effort. I'm not going to say either that I can't get a sub 2:10 marathon. Maybe I could. Maybe someday in the future. I just have to put in the hard work and effort. Maybe I can get halfway there. It's just about how much dedication I can put into myself. How bad do I really want it? How bad can I really get it? And sometimes you have to take risks. I wanted to run a marathon, and I set that audacious goal to run a marathon. Some people thought it was stupid. Some people were like, oh, go for it. And I'm like, I'm going to go for it. So I almost changed the plans because I was listening to other people. Oh, you're too young. You shouldn't do this. You're going to ruin your body. And all this other stuff. Yes, maybe I did because it wasn't right. But again, everybody's different. Some people don't. I'm not even going to say ruin their bodies. And people learn from their mistakes. I'm learning from my mistakes. Even if it's not about running, I learned every mistake that I make in life. I learned from it because I took that risk. I took the risk to run my marathon, to race the marathon, even if I got injured in the month of November, and I had to take a step back so I was able to race. Mm-hmm. Maybe the race was too soon. Maybe I could have waited another year or something. But I wanted to run it. I set that goal a long time. I trained really hard for it. I didn't want to let it go. So I raced the marathon. What happened? I got injured after. I'm not saying it's from the marathon. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it's probably just an inflammation in my tendon, which could be just a buildup from all the consistent training that I had in the previous. I mean, I've been training really consistent for 2 years, and I'm not going to say it was easy training either. I just put in so much hard work, put in a lot of dedication. I knew what I was shooting for. I knew what my ultimate goal was. As soon as I ran my half marathon, not my second, not my third, but my first half marathon, I said to myself, you're going to run a marathon in the upcoming 3 years before you're 18. What did I do? When I was 16 years old, I ran a marathon. Well, actually, that same year I ran a marathon. But actually, race-wise, I ran a marathon. I don't let go of my goals. Even if I didn't reach that goal, I just know I put in so much hard work and effort, even if I didn't get it. My goal this year was to run 250 marathon. Maybe I'm not going to be able to run this year. Maybe I'm not going to be able to race this year. Or whatever the case is. I just know that
you got to be ready to switch the plan.
I just know how much hard work and effort I'm putting in right now to try to get better. It's just about being your best self and knowing how to change the plan. And you can learn other stuff from your goal that you set. Even if you don't reach that goal, you will learn so much on the journey to try to get to that goal. And it's that consistency that really matters, that patience. It took a lot of patience to go from a 1:30:19 half marathon to a 2:54 marathon. That is a huge jump in not even 2 years. Literally a year and a half. I switched from a 1:30 half marathon to a 2:54. That's more than double my time, and it only took a year and a half. Typically that does not ever happen. But if you really do put in the hard work, you really do train for it, you have a drive, you have a dedication, you could actually reach that goal. I'm not going to say everybody can reach that goal, but you can set a goal to yourself, and you might actually be able to do it, because what really matters is how much work you want it. How bad do you really want it? I wanted it bad as soon as I ran a half marathon. I wanted to train my butt off so hard, and I did. I really did. I mean, I trained maybe a little too hard. I ended up loving the sport too much. I overtrained, and I stopped liking it for a little while. Not a little while. I mean, I had to take a step back so I could get better. I overtrained, and then I took a step back. Whatever you call it, I absorbed all my training, and I actually got better. I got faster. Sometimes you do have to overtrain, not severely to where you're just burnt out, but sometimes
you have to. After you overtrain, you gotta take that break.
You gotta to absorb it, not completely off. Just take some downtime. Maybe if you were running, let's say 80 miles a week, maybe for the next month, run 30 to 50 miles a week.
Because
just
you want to absorb
all
and
the
maybe
training.
start doing a little bit of speed during that downtime.
Yeah.
To really kind of just absorb that training, absorb the momentum that you were gaining through the 80-mile weeks that you had. And then so you're ready to arrive on the race line the best you're able to arrive, the fittest you're able to arrive, the healthiest you're able to arrive, and the freshest you're able to arrive.
Yeah, it's about being fit, fresh, and healthy. Not all the time you're going to be healthy. Not all the time you're going to be fit. Not all the time you're going to be fresh. It's about arriving on your race day fit, fresh, and healthy. If you want to become the best, you do have to sacrifice things. I'm not going to say you do. I'm not going to sugarcoat that at all. You have to sacrifice. You think the Kenyans are just perfect and they can do everything that everybody else can do? No, they are sacrificing.
Like you can't be a.
What did I sacrifice?
Okay, so let's say you sacrifice going out to eat. You sacrifice hanging out with family. You sacrifice going out making some money at work. I mean, you gotta find. So let's say you have to find the balance. Right way. So say you want to become the best weightlifter, and then the best runner. You can't do both. You gotta find a balance. You can't become the best runner. You can't become the best weightlifter combined. If you want to become a mediocre weightlifter and a mediocre runner, well, you can do that. But if you want to do both, but you can't be both. You have to choose one if you really want to become the best, because it means sacrificing everything to work for that one goal. Say I want to become the best runner. Well, I can't become the best weightlifter because I need to work I need to put all my mind, all my thoughts, everything into that running goal, that running dream. And then same with weightlifting. If I want to accomplish that weightlifting goal or business goal, I need to put everything that I have in my body and soul into that weightlifting goal, that business goal. You can't do it all, and it's all it's just a balance.
And typically, I'm sorry. So I'm not gonna sugarcoat this either. If you want to become a really good athlete at anything, runner, cyclist, basketball player, you are typically sacrificing your health, physical, mental, and social health. They're all different types of health, but I feel like you're suffering your mental health a lot. You go through a lot of stress, and sometimes you have to take a step back from the sport because of the mental stress.
I'm pretty sure, you know Ben Simmons? I'm pretty sure he's taking a mental break.
Yeah, he is.
He actually is.
And you have to actually be smart with taking a mental break. Yes, I'm not saying...
Like NBA, MLB, Major League Baseball, NFL even.
You think the pro sports are
seems
easy.
Awesome. But like, you're literally playing back to back to back. You're practicing.
It's so hard.
It kind of no longer becomes fun anymore. It becomes a business at the end of the day. You're getting paid for it. Sure, you get paid for what you love doing, but at the end of the day, it's business.
I don't know this, but do you think Elliot Kipchoge is perfect all the time? Do you think he is at his best all the time? Do you think he is not suffering from mental health? Mental health is literally detrimental in every single sport. I feel like it's really costly in a lot of, running type of sports. Gymnastics, really bad. It's a lot. Gymnastics is probably one of the worst. It is really hard for... Mental health is really... It's something that needs to be talked about way more than it has. I've been injured since my marriage.
It's only like a feminine thing. I'm just saying.
Or you think nobody really has it, or you think you're the only person.
So let's say, I'm
gonna say I have really bad anxiety and mental
depression and all that.
You think I'm perfectly fine on YouTube filming these videos, but at the end of the day, I'm not always fine. I'm not always perfect. I do suffer depression sometimes. I'm just here to be honest. I have a lot of anxiety. I have to write down stuff in a journal while I type it on my computer every single morning.
And I like to control all the variables I can.
Yeah, that's why I like to create my own trading, I guess. I like to control my whole entire life, and I'm at the end of the day, I'm a dictator. I'm very selfish, and I know some of y'all on YouTube are like, really? Yes, it's true. I'm here to be honest, because I'm actually pretty selfish person. I don't know what you call it.
Self-absorbed. So you feel like the earth revolves around you.
Yeah, everything has to be perfect in my way at the end of the day. And if it's not, I flash out or whatever you call it. Because over these past 10 weeks, I haven't been feeling like myself. I've been injured since my marathon with this terrible
and that's a variable
foot
you
pain.
can't control.
And I can't control it at all. I can't control when my next run's going to be. Can't really control when my pain's going to get better. Can't control that I can't go to the doctor. And it's really frustrating me and causes me even more mental stress than I already have on top of what's just going on in my daily life. Not just what's going on in my life, but the factor that I can't run. I have to tell myself running is not my life. Or if I was professional, it would be a little bit different. But I'm 16. I'm not in the professional or elite field, so it's a little bit different. But I feel like, who am I without running? If someone told me I could not run, where would I go? I mean, I'm here to be honest. What would I do? I mean, someone might have to put a watch on me.
You might have to go to a hospital because
I'm not
literally running. Like, sure, I'm not running right now, but I still see a future in running.
Yeah,
I still see something happening in the next
it
years
goes back.
or so.
It goes back to that mental health.
Yes, I can't wait to go for that run. But if someone told me, like, literally called me up on the phone right now, or told me the next day or a week from now, you can't run, and it would really make me sad. It would make me depressed because I'm not planning for this next run anymore. What am I supposed to do with my life? And then if someone else told me, well, you can't run, well, you also can't bike, then I would definitely go downhill, and I would really start thinking about I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to trigger anybody, because that is not what I'm here for. But I'm just saying. And
it all goes back to that mental health. It's so untouched on these days, and you think everybody is fine, or when people say about their mental health, everybody's like, just deal with it. Just be, you can get over it. And it's really not that simple. Mental health is really way more of a factor than injuries in our sport. It really is in any sport, not just running. But in a lot of sports, the mental side causes burnout at the end of the day, and you have to take a step back. Not to mention the other factor. You may not get burnt out in the sport, but you have a lot of other mental issues. Not mental. That sounds so bad. You have a lot of anxiety going on that causes mental distress in your mind, and it's not good for you at all. And so when you get to running, you're not in the right state of mind at all. And it might not cause you to feel like going for a run. You might feel groggy. It's something that should not be untouched at all. It's very, very serious because people think I'm fine, and if I say you can get over this,
it seemed like when people got all mad at like Simone Biles for taking a break for her mental health, even though that's her decision. Because she wants to compete the next year. You're giving up on Team USA. Oh, you're weak. What are you doing? Literally, it's her decision, and
that's like someone forcing me to run a 5K, 10K. And
if I'm not mentally ready, if I don't want to, it's her life, and she wants to compete for the rest of her life. If she doesn't want to compete right now, so she can compete the next day, she doesn't have to compete right now.
When I trained for my marathon, people told me not to train at go do another race. Don't do it a day. And you have to be really smart with it. You can't just go play dumb and start training for a marathon, especially when you're at a young age. You have to be really smart about it. And I was really smart about it. At the end of the day, I know what I'm really doing. And I mean, there's a reason why I ran a 2:54:08 marathon. You can't go for an injury there's so many elite athletes who get injured, and you can't say it's their training or they're not being smart with it. Injuries happen to everybody. 80% of runners every year, or some crazy statistic like that, is injured a year. I think it might be 60%.
Most of it's like knee injuries, I think, or foot injuries.
And so you can't just say, oh, you're just being stupid. Don't ever train for a marathon again. Wait till you're later. And the people that comment on, so thank you everybody who comments on the YouTube. I like everybody's input and what y'all should think. But I know y'all tell me, oh, you don't really have to listen. It's just an idea. And I like to listen and get all the input. It's really good. Keep commenting that because it really does help the support of me so much. It really does. It means so much. And they're not telling me to listen to it. And I know I don't have to listen to it. It's just giving me an idea. Oh, maybe I should think about this more. But if I want to go run a marathon, they're going to support. Everybody on this YouTube channel is going to support me. I'm going to support myself because that's what I want to do with my body. That's what I want to do with myself because that's just who I am. I mean, I'm just, I don't know.
It's your life at the end of the day. If you want to go run a marathon, you can run a marathon. If you want to run a 5K, you can go run a 5K. If you want to run an ultra, go run an ultra. I mean, it's your choice to go do that. And people like to listen to other people's input and literally chooses what other people want for them. And then they wait for something to happen because they're like, well, this person said to do this, and then this person says to do this, and they basically said the same thing. I'm going to do what they said and not do what I want to do and go down the risky path of actually going to run a marathon or do that. And then when you choose their thing, you're like, why did I make that mistake? I mean, I chose to do what they wanted and not what I wanted. Then you essentially waited for your life to happen, essentially, because when you were put in the struggle of what the people wanted and all the peers around you wanted, you are put on a hold, and then your life is put on a little, like it's trapped in a prison because you are at first doing what they want to do for a year, 2 years, a month, a week, instead of what you are actually wanting to do with your life. Then you wait even more, and then you just keep on waiting for your life to happen because all these people's inputs are into you. But if you, yes, you can listen to them, but if you block out what they want for you, yes, you must listen to them because listening, I forget whatever it is, but listening is the key to perspective and the key to go forward. And so you want to, and then if you listen, see their input, maybe it's not for you, you can go forward with your life. You can actually go after your goal. You can go after what you want to achieve. It's not what everybody else wants. It's not what everybody else thinks, and like it's the smartest decision. But it's what you want, and you think it is the smartest decision for you because it's what you want to do with your life, and it's what you think is going to be the most successful path in your life, and what's going to fulfill you every single day of your life. And it's what you essentially want for your life.
But consistency is really important. Injuries end up happening. I mean, every runner does get injured. Every athlete probably does get injured sometime in their lifetime. Typically, you don't just go injury prone, and you get negatively. Sometimes you have to take time off. I don't really know one elite runner who hasn't really gone through an injury other than one perfect runner like Elliot Kipchoge. Like, Elliot Kipchoge is like one of the most uninjured athletes for whatever reason. And
like Seth
really cool. But question of the day, how do you remain, if you remain consistent, how do you remain consistent? And part two, who do you think is the most consistent runner of all time? My personal opinion is Elliot Kipchoge, but what is yours?
I say Elliot Kipchoge. If you know Seth Damore as well, I'd say Seth Damore. Or you probably don't know this person. Andrew Glaze is also very, very consistent. Mr. 100-mile weeks for 2 years straight. Impressive feat.
I'd say he won 2 weeks now.
It's really impressive. You can go check him out. Amaze Glaze. It's his Instagram handle. But you can support us on Patreon, and you can also buy us a coffee. That's a new little supporting thing. It's all that is in the link. All that is down below in the link in the description or whatever you want to call it. Anyways, we have videos at the end if you want to check those out. We also have podcasts 1 through 4 because I'm pretty sure this is number 5, I believe. So anyways, thank you for 368 subscribers because when we did film this, we had 368. We are on our way to 1,000. That is, of course, one of our goals this year is 1,000 subscribers. And I thank y'all, everybody who is supporting this journey, who is joining along on this journey of becoming, hopefully, our own path to success in life. But thank you for watching, and thank you for listening. Anyways, make sure you seek happiness, achieve goals, and find glory. We will see y'all in the next one. Peace.